I'm standing in front of one of the very few natural bridges in the Northeast. You probably saw a couple others of these at Shelburne Falls, but behind me here, this arch is a natural bridge of marble with a little bit of limestone mixed in, mostly marble. Marble is a metamorphic rock. Marble is formed from limestone. Limestone is a chemical sedimentary rock formed in a marine environment, that is, under the water of an ocean, from a lot, millions of shells of tiny, tiny sea creatures. So what we have in this situation is that several million years ago, this was a shallow sea depositing at the bottom of it. May that mean the limestone? The limestone was metamorphosed into this marble. What's really interesting is that just to the west of here, there's quartzite, which is metamorphosed sandstone. So we have a relationship here of this was the sea, that was the beach, Cambrian Sea, and over there is a Cambrian beach party. It's a really interesting arrangement. Now these patterns of erosion are really interesting and unique too, and in just a minute Mr. Ward is going to talk to you about that.
About 2 million years ago, the entire northern hemisphere, we pretty much got covered with ice down all the way to Long Island and Martha's Vineyard and Cape Cod. And this whole area was under maybe 2-3 kilometers of ice. The highest mountain in Massachusetts, Mount Greylock, which you passed if you came here as you went around the hairpin turn, that mountain has glacial scrapings on the top of it, which lets us know that the glaciers were pretty deep. Now, of course, we have that much ice. When the ice warms up, it melts into a heck of a lot of water. That water came tearing through here at the end of the Ice Age as torrential floods, catastrophic floods. Eroded down the landscape and cut deep chasms in a lot of places. Now, marble is even softer than most rocks. The gneiss, it's pretty impressive that it cut through the gneiss out at Shelburne Falls, but this is super soft rock, so that water would have carved down like a hot knife through butter coming through here over a period of time. What's really interesting about the way it's carved, though, is that you might notice that this canyon that goes through here goes at these sharp angles, and that's because the water took advantage of weak parts in the rock, and the rocks in this region are fractured in parallel lines going one way and then parallel lines going in another way, probably due to collisions between the continents. This whole region of former seafloor from the Cambrian happens to have been a shallow sea between the Shelburne Falls volcano and North America. So when those collided, there were lots of crackings and breakings of the bedrock. And then later on, Africa collides from a different direction and the rock cracks again in a different angle. So you get these brittle fractures going in two different directions. So over here, if you look over here, there's a nice example of one of the cracks that the water came through, and then it turned to the left again. So it came back through, turned right, then turned left, and if you walk around here, you'll see that. Another thing to look at is if you follow up the cliff side, you will see the places where potholes had formed, similar to the Shelburne Falls potholes, but probably digging faster, where the water swirled through, acting as the drill drivetrain, and gritty bits of sand, really hard rock, possibly coming from the quartzite, which is much, much harder than this. The quartz and other sandy particles acting as the drill bit, digging down. If you look down, you will see many of the potholes still forming and getting deeper. You'll also see potholes that formed and then got abandoned as this canyon got cut deeper. As you walk around this area, you will see a lot of very, very old graffiti as well. This used to be part of a quarry that was worked in the 1800s to make marble for statues and buildings and tabletops and gravestones and all sorts of stuff. And here you have some of the graffiti. This one's from 1860. Now, what's really cool about this graffiti is it's really, really old. What would not be cool would be graffiti that got added to it now. So please resist any urge or temptation that you might have, of course, to do any graffiti of your own. Let's enjoy looking at the 1880s graffiti that people carved into this at the quarry.
Okay, we're still at the Marble Bridge, and there's some interesting things about the rocks here on top. You notice this pattern. It looks like somebody took something really heavy and hard and drug it along the surface here and left big, deep scrapes on the surface of the rock, which is exactly what happened. These are known as glacial striations, and essentially what happened is a massive chunk of ice ran over the surface of this rock, was dragging ice and rock with it, and scraped these marks in the surface of the rock. It's a very clear pattern. You'll find it all over the place here. Look for at least one other example near where I'm standing right now. This is not the end of the story for this. In most places, glaciers are the most recent thing to happen. Here, there's been some fairly massive changes worked by people. If you look behind me, you'll notice that there has been a lot of rock removed. Marble is a valuable building stone. It's very pretty. We use it to put faces on buildings, and we use it to make steps and many other things. And a lot of marble was taken from this quarry. Down below is the empty space that's been left behind. It's an amphitheater. There's special events held down there, weddings and such. If you want to have an air guitar contest down there, that's your business. One of the things we can't see from here, but you will notice when you go down there, is there is a wall of rock. It's called the blast wall. That's what miners hid behind while they were blasting, so that the flying bits of rock did not hit them as they were being blasted out. One last thing to mention about this site is you will notice occasional rocks that don't look like they belong here. Large round boulders that just are laying on top of the marble. These are called glacial erratics. They were another gift from the glaciers. Big rocks the glacier was carrying, and when it melted, just put them down. There's 2 or 3 that are pretty obvious that you might want to mark down seeing in your fieldwork journal.